And I think another thing that comes out of this is you can tell the expression of the eye is kind of relates back to what I was saying about form. The expression of the eye is built on all the forms around the eye, not just the specific eye itself. So if you spend enough time and you're careful and patient enough with the varying bulks of light and shadow within an area, you will get the expression of an eye or an ear or a nose or a face that you're dealing with. Here, this shadow could come down. I'm just adding more pressure. I've done this whole drawing with one pencil by just being very careful with the amounts of pressure I'm putting on my pencil to get the varying degrees of value shift. And I've also been very clear to make sure that I'm always keeping in my mind the difference between what's in the shadow and what's in the light mass. This whole area could come down a little bit more, so I'll just skim over it very subtly to bring it down. And I think real quickly I'm going to move into the light, and then go do a few things back in the shadow to push a few darker darks down, and then I think it would be done enough. So if I look here on the cast, it's darker than what's going on here because I'm catching more direct light. This is a halftone, there's a lighter light, but everything here is certainly lighter than that. So I'm using like an H, or this is a 2H, and I'm tapering out of the shadow into those halftones, and I'm gradually going to build up the halftone. Essentially the plane is moving in this direction, so my marks are going to go in that direction. By pushing the halftone, the lighter light kind of takes care of itself. This is coming on very clear on the camera. That edge is soft right here, but it's still specific in that it's a specific change between light and dark. So I'm going to get those halftones and kind of taper into the shadow to darken it up a little bit. And I can even darken this area of the shadow with the 2H without going too much darker. Just like skimming over an area in a value scale. And here is all halftone, because the form is basically moving over kind of like that. It's curving over right there. So as it curves over and goes more towards the light, just like a sphere, I go from halftone gradually into lighter light. Because essentially this shape here is based on the fact that it's on top of that sphere of an eyeball. It's moving with the same direction. Here I've got a halftone, even got a darker shadow. There's another example. This is a 2H, but I can still, with controlling the pressure, take down a core shadow even darker. And taper back into the light. The thing to be careful about, though, is that you don't end up tapering back into the light and losing the clarity of where the core shadow and the division of light and dark actually come in. So you can soften it up too much sometimes. Form turns again down. All of that can come down in shadow. And the one advantage of this 2H pencil is that, it's so much harder that I can make the really fine hatch marks a little more clearly visible, kind of refine on top of what I did with the softer pencil. Push that core shadow here. And something I can tell is this side of the cast is much lighter than this side, because this side is turning more parallel to the light source. So that means I'm going to skim over that to where that edge is coming in. Yeah, so you can see some of the hatch marks now, the halftone hatch marks, and the difference between what's going on in the shadow. Basically trying to define every kind of major directional shift in the form with these hatch marks. And though I'm putting them down quickly, they're not randomly put down.
You call them hatch marks?
Yeah, hatch. Done here in just a second. I should zoom back.